More and more developers have been reporting that Adult Swim games are getting nuked by Warner Brothers. A majority of these Adult Swim games are found on Steam. You could still buy some of them right now, but there are a group of games that have already been deleted. So those are just gone. Obviously, this injustice provided by WB is not sitting well with gamers. It shouldn't be sitting well with anyone, really. And for someone who's worked in game development, my heart is bleeding for these developers, and I wanted to have a quick chat with you about this whole situation. It doesn't seem like anyone has found any concrete reasoning why these games are getting delisted and removed. What's the point in doing this so randomly and out of the blue? I've seen some reasonings being reported by people, but nothing from the horse's mouth itself. Warner Brothers. I mean, at the very least, if you're going to do all this, maybe you should have made the games a little cheaper, put out a decent sale for everybody to cop them before they're gone. These devs might be able to put the games back up on the Steam page without Adult Swim being noted as the publisher, but that's not going to help them get their game to more people, and that's ultimately what they set out to do when they made it. It's a piece of art, it's passion, it's love. They want people to get their hands on it. It's not necessarily about the money. The money doesn't hurt. Money helps a lot of things, and most of these games are older, so they won't have a whole lot of mass appeal and people trying to get to them, but there could be some people out there that find that these games are really good and that they just missed out on some diamonds in the rough. Myself included. You'll find out about that shortly. Once more, WB hasn't given the specific reasoning behind deleting these games, but some are reporting it's business changes or logical and resource constraints that are making them unable to just give these developers the rights to their games that they made. It's actually a lot more simple than that. It's just that WB is filled with a bunch of dickheads at the top that don't want anybody to make any money unless it's them. That's just capitalism, baby. WB has a really shaky track record when it comes to publishing games, but there have been some great ones in there, at least in my personal opinion. Hogwarts Legacy was an awesome game, and I enjoyed my time playing through it. Recently, there's been some buzz around Hogwarts Legacy 2, which we all knew was inevitable with how popular that game was. Some are speculating that it could be a live service game, and you're probably right. I mean, why wouldn't it be? If that is the case, be very concerned, because the first game should have gone that route if that's what the initial vision was supposed to be. There's no reason why they couldn't have done it with the first entry, so it's obvious that they know they can milk that game for as much money as they can by stuffing it full of predatory microtransactions and promises that are probably not going to be kept. I'm sure the second game could end up being absolute dog shit if it's live service, and that's all but a guarantee. Speaking for myself, it will be incredibly hard not to buy the game, as I loved the first one, but with everything WB is doing, I pretty much have to resist. They can't seem to get anything right, like when they raised the prices of HBO Max, it wasn't even really worth the $10 to begin with. And now that they've doubled that price, I have to watch my Peacemaker and Last of Us on a sketch at a friend's house. Yeah, we'll say I gotta watch that at a friend's house. Every time I see something like this come up, some sinister scheme or plan from an evil company like WB, I always think about how great it would be to watch them fall, or any of these blood-sucking companies fall, really. It feels like complete destruction and death can't really happen, but something cool like an insane loss in revenue or public apology. I just want something to humble any of these big companies, because it feels like they can do and get away with whatever the fuck they want and rarely ever face consequences when they're constantly doing the most anti-consumer shit. No games made with passion and love deserve to be shut down just because Warner Brothers doesn't think they'll make more profit off of them, or whatever their weird-ass reasoning could be for this. And listen to me when I say this, the fault falls solely on Warner Brothers, and none of these developers did anything wrong. We're not getting any sales, it seems like, at least not right now. There should be a Steam sale coming up soon. I think it's the spring sale or something. I'm not really going to be able to spend any money. My child should be here soon. Like, at least before the end of the month. I can't be buying any games right now. I can still complain about prices, though. That's free. But the publishers control the price of these games, not the developers. They've mentioned that time and time again. The bad motherfucker behind a majority of this information we've been receiving is Deery, who is the creator of Small Radio's Big Televisions, which is a game that I've never heard of, but it definitely fits the vibe that Adult Swim goes for. This homeboy has decided to give anyone who wants it a free copy of the game. As a poor schlub, I took it upon myself to indulge, knowing basically nothing about it. Small Radio's Big Televisions is not a game that I would typically run. I figured that out within seconds. It's a point-and-click puzzle game, definitely a niche audience. As I went further, though, I could continuously feel the love and passion that went into this. The art is amazing for being 8 years old, and the music is so somber and mysterious. I fell in love with the synthesizer that followed me through every action, every area. It's beautiful, it's trippy, it's got this mysterious narrative that keeps you on edge, wondering what's going on, who's talking to you, what you are, what you're doing. I didn't want to stop playing it, and it really does fit that surreal vibe that Adult Swim programming has, and I appreciated the time I spent playing it. So thank you, Owen Deery, for giving me a chance to try your game. I know that's all you really want. It really hurts me to see that WB is shafting you this hard. Reading through Owen's tweets, I did find some ways to help support him, so if you'd like to do that as well. He mentions that he gets a majority of the money on his Bandcamp, and the music in this game is arguably the best part, so if you wanted to show him some love, try the game out, and then maybe buy something from his Bandcamp if you have the money for it. We need more developers like him, and a lot of these developers that are getting shit on here. It's never been about the money they could be making with their games up on Steam. It's about something they put everything into getting taken away from them, as if someone else should have the right to do that without any proper reasoning. It's horrifying watching Warner Brothers carry out a heinous act like this, really demonstrating the power they have to hurt others at will and not give a single fuck about it. I made sure to look through the list of about 20 Adult Swim games that are available on Steam, and I actually found one that I somehow own. Not that there's anything wrong with owning it, I just didn't realize I had purchased it. Headlander must have been part of a Humble Bundle I copped many years ago. I hate to admit that I might not have ever tried this game if not for this bullshit from WB, but I'm grateful I even have the chance. Headlander is exactly what it sounds like. Obviously, you fly around as a detached head in a 1950s stylized future and land on bodies and machines to solve puzzles. It's weird and incredibly charming. I even laughed a bunch of times from the dialogue given to you by Earl, the homeboy helping you along the story. I enjoyed what the game offered, even though I'm not a huge side-scroller fan, but at one point I threw my C4 energy drink back too quickly and it splashed in my eye. These drinks make me feel itchy and weird. Am I gonna die? The absurdity of the game is what makes it so interesting and fun to play. You jump from body to body and solve these puzzles in random weird areas. It's a Double Fine game, the same team that brought you stuff like Psychonauts, Brutal Legend, Grim Fandango, Gang Beasts. They've got a pretty good track record. If you like any of their previous games, I would definitely say to try this one out. The quality of both of these games got me pondering about the reception of all of these Adult Swim published games. Are they all this creative and unique? Sleeper hits outside of a couple of the big name ones? Well, only 2 games had mixed reviews on Steam, and the rest were well liked by the community and those who chose to review. So now I feel even worse about the games disappearing from the platform. Some of the titles I've heard of but never owned, like Duck Game, which has a pretty substantial fan base and seems to be a staple for some. Duck Game is a party game focused on fighting your friends with wacky characters in a zany environment. Killing it with the descriptor terms, I know. Sure, the game might be almost 10 years old, but that doesn't mean people don't want to continue to introduce it to their friends in the future. None of these games seem like lousy titles or shovelware that deserve to be deleted for nothing more than WB wanting to flex their cock muscle. Not every Adult Swim game has been as low-key as the ones I've chosen to talk about. Samurai Jack Battle Through Time is based on the hit cartoon of the same name, and the game is actually canon to the series, so without it, you'll never get the full story. For anyone that's ever been a fan of a franchise that can span multiple media platforms, that's like the worst news imaginable. Granted, you could probably watch a playthrough somewhere, but that's not the same as putting yourself in their shoes and actually getting to experience the game. I only watched so much of Samurai Jack growing up, but the game looks really good, and I would try it if I could get a decent sale on it. Warner Brothers has been fucking up fairly consistently the last couple of years, and their mistreatment of game developers is just another blunder from them. Hell, Coyote vs. Acme is still stuck in limbo, with Warner Brothers not wanting to take a hit from from it, and it might not ever even see the light of day, just because they don't want to spend money marketing it. I'm done supporting Warner Brothers in any way that I can. This injustice can only be settled by showing restraint from the consumers. Get that bum David Zaslav out of the CEO suite, and maybe we could see some change for the better. Do what you can for these developers. After all these games are nuked and you have more free time, maybe think about buying a boat. You could do some sailing. You know what I mean? Bye.
Did anyone notice me yet? This isn't working. This is not working. The innocent don't tase me, bro. Shit. I'm gonna keep coming. I'm really scared of getting banned. That's good. I slingshot the motherfucker. I'm out of here. Oh shit. That's enough for me. That is enough for me. That shit went flying, yo.
Then with the beef, I'ma stack it up. Yeah, better rice. I lay it down, then I nap it up. I'm on a roll when I'm macking up. Yeah.